Congratulations to all of you for the splendid win of Aam Aadmi Party, and certainly the hard work that Arvind Kejriwal, all of the volunteers and the team has done. We deserve it. I think my main hope from Aam Aadmi Party is always, of course, women's safety, and I can't believe how scared women in Delhi might be. Like when I return from work, even if it is 12 in midnight here, I don't feel scared, but I don't know how they manage their day-to-day when so many things in buses, on two-wheelers, at workplace, everywhere, in the vehicles. So women is not safe anywhere. So we really hope that Aam Aadmi Party take special steps and also as quick as possible so that women feel safe in Delhi.
We as NRIs have heard many people saying that they are scared of going back to India. So now in Aam Aadmi Party we have seen a hope in which they say that the women will be secure, there will be special precautions taken to take care of women's security. And I hope after this, the conditions of, especially starting from Delhi, would improve, and we as NRIs would feel free to go back to India and take our kids to visit our, grandparents and relatives. Thank you very much.
I started feeling a pull towards the IAC when they did the Anna Hazare movement, and I happened to be in India at the time. And I was very concerned about the state of politics in India, the sense of entitlement, whether it's Congress or BJP, all the talks are just before the elections, but no enforcement or no execution post-elections. And here was a common man, and here was Anna Hazare, who didn't lack any credibility as to their intention or their ability to execute. Or their dogged adherence and perseverance with their agenda. So I really believed in their sincerity and also the power of their intent. And looking at the mass support that the movement garnered, I had no doubts when Congress taunted Mr. Kejriwal कि अगर दम है तो election जीत के दिखाओ और फिर इसको साबित करो. And then there was a single man who had the guts to take up the cudgels and say, okay, I will fight the elections, when he knew that he had no chance. Otherwise, Congress would not have taunted him. And then the public have actually made his dreams come true. And in what a way. It's an unprecedented victory for the common man. And it really made me feel that the democracy is of the people, by the people, and for the people, for the first time. It brought us back memories of the Swaraj movement, when we are fighting for our own country and not letting politics be an idle playground for the entitled class who are completely self-serving, who are completely corrupt. So the system needed a change, and Arvind Kejriwal is an idea whose time has come.
We have Mr. Raj Reddy Gill, Marketing Director, and I suppose the best way of describing you is a founding member of the AAP UK branch. Is that correct?
I wouldn't call a founding member. I'd say one of the initial guys who helped sort of coordinate with the coordination sort of stuff. So we are a informal group of supporters, and yes, so we were one of the first few guys who helped kickstart it.
Right. I suppose congratulations is in order. What do you think was the decisive factor in Mr. Kejriwal's win this time?
I think the decisive factor was the fact that we kept focused on a positive agenda. We were telling the people that we know you have these problems. The problems about a reasonable level of water that they can get, which is a major problem for them on a daily life basis, electricity, health, and the most critical one is women's safety, along with other things to do with health, education, and so on. And we had a positive plan and an agenda with an action plan of how to actually implement that. So we put that across to the people. We kept talking to them about these points all the time during our campaign. We did not get down to name calling or saying, okay, X party is not good for XYZ reason. There were no personal attacks. attacks. There were no attacks on people. What we focused on was our positive agenda and what we were planning to deliver to the people of Delhi and how we would deliver that. That is also very critical because promises are made, manifesto promises are made, but behind those manifestos there were lots of blueprints, there were experts whose opinions were taken, people whose lives were affected by that particular issue were also consulted. So it was a much more comprehensive solution that we were going back to the people with. Yes, we might not have done the detailed discussion, but the blueprint, the people got the sense, the people of the citizens of Delhi got the sense that here is a party, here is a bunch of people who actually know what they're talking about, and they are talking to us about a solution for a problem that impacts me in a massive way on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, one of the things that fascinates me is, yes, like you said, a lot of promises have been made, tackling corruption, women empowerment, putting 100,000 CCTV cameras and all of that. What strikes me is all of these things, before they are tackled on the surface at least, there are a lot of fundamental changes that need to be brought in. For instance, corruption. Yes, it's good to root out corruption, but the causes of corruption, the low-paid public sector workers, for instance, paperwork, etc. These fundamental changes need to be made as well. And has he accounted for these things?
So yeah, exactly. One of our biggest manifesto, biggest reason why we came into politics is the anti-corruption bill, the Jan Lokpal bill, and we are going to table that and we are going to pass that. That actually lays out the deterrent that you have, the sort of the time-bound punishment, the time-bound investigation, and the time-bound punishment that any crime in terms of corruption will have. So far, it's never been put on paper in any state as such, in the way that has been visioned in the Jan Lokpal. And we have shown to the people that we have the intent to actually implement it.
Yeah, but
with the mandate that we have, we can now implement it. So people know that we are attacking the very root cause, one of the major root causes of massive problems. The problems that you see in health, the problems that you see on the road, the problems that you see with your water supply, the problems that you see with your high electricity bills. The root cause, or one of the major causes, these are the symptoms. One of the major causes is corruption, and the fact that corruption actually gives weight to inefficiencies because it benefits someone or the other in the chain, and that's why the delivery of the services get impacted. Once those delivery of the services get impacted, the common man's life also gets impacted massively, to the extent that it is today, where they're finding it very difficult to earn a living and still have a decent, at a decent wage and have a decent living as such.
Finally, in the kind of annals of history, where does Mr. Kejriwal's success this time, rank in Indian history at least? And I mean, for someone like you, middle class, successful, an NRI, what is his appeal? What is the muffler man's appeal for you?
So you're talking about appeal as an individual, as the personality of Arvind Kejriwal. So Arvind is an extraordinary man by any standards. But for us, it's not Arvind Kejriwal. It's the principles and the founding sort of tenets that we have for the Aam Aadmi Party about actually attacking the system that has gone very rotten and actually rectifying it and changing it so that the systemic changes that we put in place will end up making the common life, the Aam Aadmi's life, a lot better and attack the very root cause instead of just addressing the symptoms. So we support Arvind as just an enabler and an agent of that change as such. And he's the one who sort of is very inspirational, very guiding, and he's delivered with his service to the nation over the last decade or so. So we see in him a very inspirational leader who actually is very tactically brilliant also, as we've seen in the Delhi election. So while we do respect him tremendously, but there are a lot of Arvind Kejriwals in this Aam Aadmi Party. It's just that they don't come in the forefront as such. Arvind is a popular leader, so yes, someone has to have a face in that sense. So Arvind is the man, and he will continue to remain in that sense. But if you talk to any Aam Aadmi Party supporter or a volunteer, they will go back to the fact that yes, while they respect Arvind and they admire him, and he's their leader in that sense to help us make the systemic change we do, is the system that we want to change and the platform that we believe in and the policies that we actually end up laying out for addressing the common man's problem.
But you're not going to be wrapping a muffler around your head anytime soon?
No, I have other ways of fighting the cold out here in the UK.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Raj. Right, we've also got Mr. Ramanpal Singh, a London-based IT consultant. Congratulations on your party's success.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, first of all, how did you get involved with the AAP, and why did you get involved with the AAP?
I was with Anna movement around 3 years back, and that time, when the...
This is the Anna Hazare movement.
Anna Hazare movement, yeah. And then when the Aam Aadmi Party, actually started in the inception time, I thought that, this is the one which is going to give the alternative to the politics in Indian scenario. And especially, the kind of thought process that they got in. I think the people were hungry for that, and people like me were looking for a platform to get connected and do something for the people who are poor and people who are not educated. So I felt an appetite to get connected with them. And it's like, since the inception, around 2 years back, I've been doing the calling campaign for Aam Aadmi Party. I made, around 300 to 400 calls. Not as great as many of the other volunteers, but whatever I could contribute. Otherwise, I also contributed in terms of money. And then while being here, I started, connecting with the people, volunteers over here in UK. And, we've been conducting the various events in various cities of UK with a campaign name called as Flame of Hope. And with this Flame of Hope, we are connecting the people who are looking for a platform to get connected with the alternative politics. Again, AAP is just one of the channels to get connected and to the roots, to back to India and do something for your country, for the betterment of the country, which is going to give you an alternative to the current, the political scenario, which is going to stagnate and which is all based on the various aspects, which is, dividing India. So, and the thought process which Aam Aadmi brought in is actually uniting India. Zero corruption, zero tolerance to corruption, Swaraj bill, which is, empowerment of the people from the grassroots, as well as, the right to reject and right to recall. That if the MLA is not performing well, then recall him. People should be empowered to recall him that he is not doing what we have sent him to the parliament for.
I mean, as a party, as a movement, the idea of the Aam Aadmi Party, the policies that have been promoted by Mr. Kejriwal and so forth, the idea sounds amazing, yes, but they've been around for a few years now. What have they achieved, do you think? And from a purely policy level, tangible level, what has been appealing for you?
Two things which I've seen that the Aam Aadmi Party has been successful to a great extent. One is giving a hope to the people, like, from the tagline that, India ka kuch nahi ho sakta, to the tagline that, kuch to ho sakta hai India. And now I think that, people are very, very hopeful that something will definitely happen better for the India. And then other thing is that, getting the like-minded people on board. The people who don't believe in the abuse, gali-galoch, the people who actually, are more, positive mindset, people who think more of the motherland, people who think about alternate politics, and it's not all about AAP. People are really thinking about that, can experiment like AAP can be successful in India. And if case study like AAP becomes successful in one state, I'm sure that, many of the AAPs and people will be definitely supporting. So it's not just AAP, it's the idea behind the AAP that people are getting connected to. And, the idea of an alternate politics which can exist in India.
The other danger, finally, another question that I wanted to ask you was, Mr. Modi has been in office for less than a year, and he has suffered a humiliating defeat in Delhi. So, and he was elected as Prime Minister for 5 years. So people have given him less than a year to deliver. Are you going to give Mr. Kejriwal also less than a year to deliver, or how do you view that aspect of this whole contest?
Yeah. So as I say that the intentions do matter, and had the government at the center had really been objective towards achieving what they have promised the people for, they would have achieved at least something by this time. On the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the files for them about getting the black money back to India. So these things have really not happened on the grassroots. Similarly,
but it's a process. It's a process. It's an ongoing process.
Yeah. But you see the intentions behind it, and definitely, they may go, achieving that. God knows. I'm not sure. But you see the comparison with 49 days. Although it's a state, but still, you see the kind of intention which they have gone through, and certainly, the people have lost the hopes with existing parties, and here is a party which is giving the hope. And Kejriwal has really, or Kejriwal Sahab has really really, lot to prove for himself. And that's what the aspirations of the people are behind him, that, he really starts working from day one. And what we are seeing from last 2 days, at least, we're thinking that things are picking up, especially on SIT on 6, genocide on 84. He has really taken SIT in 49 days. FIR against Sheila Dixit, he has really done on the ground. FIR against the discoms of Delhi, he has really done something on the corruption. I've been talking to auto wallahs in Delhi and to the taxi drivers of the Delhi. Really, I could see that, feeling that, corruption was minimized to a great extent in those 49 days. So coming that as a case study of 49 days, people like me do aspire and see that, hope with Kejriwal that, going in next 1 or 2 years or maybe 6 months, he will be able to at least achieve substantially what he has promised for.
Right, we are here with another long-standing member of the Aam Aadmi Party's UK branch, Mr. Harpreet Singh, who happens to be a management consultant and also happens to have just arrived back, literally just arrived back from Delhi after campaigning with Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Harpreet, thank you so much for joining us. Tell me a little bit, give me an idea about the kind of emotions that you experienced as Mr. Kejriwal swept to power in Delhi.
As you said, this Arvind Kejriwal or Aam Aadmi Party swept Delhi. So the emotions were really high, and when actually I was watching the results, tears were pouring out of my eyes. So I didn't expect that overwhelming response from the people of Delhi. I was expecting somewhere around 51, 55 seats, but the support we've got like 61 seats. Is it like
67.
67, sorry, my mistake. 67 is just amazing. And the vibes over there are literally like a revolution. I can tell you every single person, even if he's Aam Aadmi Party supporter or not, is actually overwhelmed to bring Arvind Kejriwal because he's got really, really high hopes.
And you obviously met Mr. Kejriwal as well. Tell me about what you saw in him. Was it relief? Was there a sense of relief there? Was there a sense of a triumph? What did you gauge from him as an individual?
He's very calm personality. So when I met him, he was very calm, but I can see on his face a sense of responsibility because we've promised people of Delhi so much, and I think what we have promised, we're going to deliver them 100%.
100%, okay.
100%. This is going to happen for the first time in history of Indian politics, that whatever we have promised, we'll try and deliver those promises, not only giving false hopes that, okay, we'll promise that, and then after elections, we just forget about things.
But, I mean, voters are inherently fickle creatures. Mr. Narendra Modi, the current Prime Minister, swept into power on a huge mandate last year as well. But he's suffered such a huge blow in Delhi now, and he hasn't even completed a year in office. So people's memories are very short. People's expectations seem to be very, very high. Won't Mr. Kejriwal suffer the same kind of expectation sickness, as it were?
That's what I'm saying. The responsibility which Arvind Kejriwal has right now, it's tremendous. So he needs to deliver on all those things. But otherwise, as you said, the expectations are really high. Even if the light goes, yesterday, I'll tell you the experience. Yesterday, the electricity went off for 1 hour. And people were saying, okay, Arvind Kejriwal is in power, so why is the electricity going for 1 hour? So see, so there is the expectation. So that's what I'm saying. We've won, that's the first step, but getting on the responsibility and delivering all the stuff which we have promised in the manifesto is another thing. And we're trying our level best. We've already started delivering those things. We're trying our level best to engage all the people who are responsible, who will deliver those things, so that the work has already started. We're not waiting for to be sworn in as Chief Minister. The work has already started.
Now, don't be fooled by the long hair and the beard. Harpreet is a successful London-based management consultant, someone who, as he said, speaks and talks for a living as well. And I know management consultants get very well paid as well. Why the Aam Aadmi Party for you? Why Arvind Kejriwal for you on a personal level? Why did you get involved?
Because we dreamt of something which is corruption-free India. We always dreamt of. We actually wanted to do something for India, and we never got a platform. So when Aam Aadmi Party or IAC movement started, that's when we thought, yes, we can do
The India Against Corruption movement.
against corruption, I mean. And that's when I got influenced by Anna Hazare first, and then obviously Arvind Kejriwal later on, which converted into Aam Aadmi Party unit because we needed a political alternative. So this is political alternative which we were looking for. We've been sweating for last 3 years, and eventually dividend have been paid by people of Delhi. So this is the starting of clean, honest politics, where we are dreaming of corruption-free India. We'll start from corruption-free Delhi.
Finally, just a last question to you as an NRI. You guys have worked so hard to do your part in getting Mr. Kejriwal elected Chief Minister. What's next for you as supporters, London-based supporters or UK-based supporters? What do you intend doing? What are your future plans, at least for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I mean, we always been a part of whatever campaigns where Aam Aadmi Party has run. So you can say we are the backbone or the back office staff. So it's the other way around now.
Yeah.
So
Business process outsourcing the other way.
The other way around. So we've helped in Mohalla Sabha project and all the technology things. So now the Wi-Fi thing is going on. We'll start working on those things with other Shastri.
Wi-Fi things? What do you mean Wi-Fi things?
Free Wi-Fi connectivity
in Delhi.
In Delhi. So we'll be working on technology fronts and all the other fronts which we will be asked to do. So we will be liaising with the coordinators and the campaign managers. So whatever we have promised in daily dialogues, we'll try and help from our end, from here, whatever we can do.